my Rumble account. Now, let's get on to the live stream. Alright, looks like we're at... Oh, I don't care. I don't care about moderation. It doesn't even appear. It's fine. Alright. Making sure everything's alright. And, alright. I mean, it's the bit rate's a little bit low, but I don't think there's much I can do about that. And like close some programs, I guess. But I don't want to do much. Yeah, I don't think I can really do much. All right, so hello and welcome to the live stream. Assuming that the bitrate isn't too bad, because I see it super throttled, which is really unfortunate. Let me see if I can try to change it, maybe, because it's gonna be quite hard for. I'll do 5,000 as. It might just be my internet being garbage. Just spectacular, you know? Okay. You go and see. I don't know why it would be like that, but oh well. Half of the frames dropped, huh? I wanna take a look at this. Hold on. Oh my god. It's like they're 60p up here. I think it definitely has something to do with the custom resolution, but I'm not sure how. I stream in, or I record in 2560 by 1080, so it is what it is. Alright, let's see if it will hold up or not. No drop frames yet. 30 drop frames. 60 drop frames. Wow, I love unstable internet. It's so lovely. I never actually streamed when my internet has been like this. So, it's a shame if it is too bad, but I mean we're not really doing much at least right now, so that's nice. All right. So might as well start going then. Hello, my name is Mjrlun, and welcome to a live stream. I am taking some time to work on this project called Minecraft Renewed. I have been working on it for, it says in the description, since June of 2021, which is accurate, but let's see what the date is. It is currently Wednesday, December 7th of 2022, so it's been over a year and a half. I'm still working on it. I plan on releasing it by summer 2023 as a 1.0 stable version, but I can't really make much promises as this is like a hobby. I don't really, well, first of all, my brain needs breaks on this project because it's very demanding. And also, I, of course, have a life, so I prefer not to waste all of it on that. So anyway. Let's get the music going. Also, I need to reduce the volume of the microphone. Because that was a bad peak. Alright. Alright. And reduce the audio here. So, as of right now, I'm working on multi-threaded rendering. They take a while to go through like the whole process of what I've been doing. Essentially, because OpenGL only works in one thread, one CPU thread, and Java, I mean Java is pretty decent multi-threading, but because OpenGL only works in one thread, we can't just render on multiple threads. We have to do some other trickery. And so what I'm doing instead is, let me find it. Here we go. So instead I have this setup where I take, if you imagine a volume which contains sections of the world, I divvy it up between these different threads, and I have them calculate these nice presents for the main thread, which are just essentially, I guess, think of it like a soundbite for the main thread. And so whenever the main thread wants to render the world, it will go into this function. It'll call it on this instance right here. Essentially, it synchronizes with the, as you can see, this function will synchronize quickly so it can copy into a temporary variable. And then it will render all of the world inside of there. And then it will, of course, move on. Now, the way that this works is that this whole world renderer shell array is the contents of every single one of these world renderers, and it loops through all of them. So you can see right here, it loops through all of them. All the ones contained within this manager. Anyway, not that important. Let's move on to the other part, render global. I had to rewrite this whole class just to get this to work. I have not launched the game yet. It's not done yet. There are plenty of errors you still have to fix, just in terms of syntax, because I have not completed all the functions yet, updated references. So right now what I'm working on is tile entity management for rendering purposes. Now, if we look over here, this is a permanent, or I guess, well, as long as the program is running, but it's a permanent thread that runs in the background, which is instantiated by render global, and it is a little, child object to it. And as you can see right here, and it will find the tile entities within the range given in the world, of course, given as well. In here, you can see we have these ways that we can set it. However, of course, these are not synchronized. If you use synchronized, usually if you have a synchronized function, then it, of course, will synchronize the whole object, which is not very nice. And we want to only synchronize as little as possible, because I don't want to have to halt the entire process. As you can see, we only synchronize the tile entities and a bounding box here. Should probably also be synchronizing the world, but yeah, we should probably be synchronizing the world as well. Alright, that's fine. A little bit annoying, if anything.
Dada,
What? Go away. Go away.
I need my snorkel.
I don't have it. Go away.
No, it's my mommy's bathroom. It's in my mommy's bathroom.
Go out of my room. I told you to leave. Jesus. Be willing to help her if I'm live streaming. No, it's not like I can explain to her that I'm doing that. Jeez. Alright. Anyway. So. We need to also synchronize the world. Oh my god. First live stream, you're going super well. Alright. We do need to synchronize all of these objects, unfortunately, because, let's see. We can... Yeah, we can probably synchronize these functions in a certain way, so... I don't even know if this is actually, I don't even know if this is a great idea, so we should probably... Alright. And of course we have this, so this, I believe... Yeah, because this is going to be on leave, so it doesn't matter that much. And, yeah, these are not synchronized, however. We can always use them in that context, so it doesn't mess up. Now, I believe there are other algorithms in the world that actually will find all the tile entities. It looks like added tile entity list. If this scanning tile entities. What does this even mean? It doesn't have a comment attached to it, which is really nice. Really helpful. I could probably fix this with types, but I don't care right now. So if it finds it, yeah, if it's at the position, and then we have all these tile entities in the map and the game, I assume, and loaded that. So we'll get this as well. Yeah. I don't actually know where this is like pulled essentially. So that's all the added ones, and then we have the loaded ones. Okay. So it'll load them here. Yeah. We'll add them here. Wonder how it even... I guess, well... The thing is... This is the funny thing. So, we have all this, right? So, in the world, this actually may make it easier. So, this is all the loaded tile entities. But the funny thing is, it just so happens to be that this is almost exactly the list we want. So, even though it won't be the one that... I think we don't need this class. So, that's great. I'm gonna leave it here for the moment. However, I'm gonna look for... Where is this used? Okay. I think, yeah, this will work. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and sunset that old code, and we will be able to... I'm gonna go ahead and comment this out really quickly. And we need to... Where is this? Great. Really love whenever Java does this. All right. So we have all that commented out. So now it doesn't need to, or it doesn't have that anymore. All right. Now, considering this is some of the operations of it looks like the main thread, we're going to add this to the render global instance, and this is we care about the loaded. So we have this variable, which is really handy. We can use this to make it towards only the client for later. This is for later whenever we eventually put together the server. We don't want the server to be tallying up what needs to be rendered, because that's absurd. So for let's see. So this is gonna be complaining because it's in we're gonna have to cast this to collection of type. No. There we go. All right, because we know what it is. So that's nice. Well, I might go through the process later of changing all the lists around, but for now, it is what it is. If what was it called? It was in here. If it has a special renderer, I'm going to add it to the list of things to do. We're gonna have to render is it this MC dot render global? It's not. Is it that? What is it? I know it exists. I just don't remember what it is. Is it? You can always use the workaround method, but I don't really want to, because that would be really obnoxious. Oh, that's great. Okay, cool. Cool. So I'm trying to think. Let's go back to the tile entities here. I kind of want to change this to a set. Or set. I know that this is not a type of set. I forget what extends set. What types of sets are there? What uses you? There's gonna be a lot of reference. I don't know what extends set though. This is not gonna help me. Okay. Oh, extends collection. Okay. So what extends set? I don't remember how to. Can you check? Nope. We could do this. Nope. Hold on, let me look up like hash set or something. I know that I know we can find that. Oh, okay, it actually shows us. So down here. See also collection, sorted set, abstract set, collection. That's an interface so they can help us. I mean, we might have to just use a hash set, right? What is this? Okay, let's go open the hash set class. New hash set. Okay, cool. So, I assume it's, yeah, okay, cool. I think this should work. Dope. Right. So we're gonna use this to manage our hash set. Now, the reason why I think we should use a hash set instead of a list is because, assuming that, hold on. That's the problem. Trying to think about how to manage the, we could do that. We could also do that. So, either I take the tile entity list from world and I filter it out for the things we want, which then we have to update it a lot. Or what we do is, which I'm going to do because it seems simpler, is we create the list normally on world, the loaded tile entity set, or not set list, and then in render global, we loop over it, and if it has a special renderer, then we, of course, render it. I don't know how slow the check function is. However, it's still being done on the main thread regardless, so it's not like it's anything different. It's still gonna have the same performance, just at different times. So that's great. So instead, let's do this instead. All right. I will say though, I'm gonna change this to a. I don't know. Let's see. I want to go fix some references real quickly because this is bothering me. So the reason why Minecraft does not use types, but it's a realist, is I believe at least, is because it was made with. Isn't this? Yeah. That should be. Right. Oh, no, I wanted. So, this was made in Java, like the original Minecraft code was made in Java 1.6, which means it probably didn't have this feature. I don't know when it was added personally, but who knows? So, we're going to go ahead and. Looks like entity removal is generic. So, interesting. That's very interesting. I don't really know why, but I guess it makes sense. I don't, yeah. Alright, so now we're gonna go, because I already messed with those. Let's see, where's the references for you? Add title entity. Yep. That seems to be fine. Seems fine. Yep, seems fine. We'll get there when we get there. So, just a few things. Usually it's just like one or two, but whenever you get an iterator, you can also gotta change the type if you want it to maintain the same type as the iterator generated. You can see this tile entity there. Then we will do that. Nope. Go back to world and scroll up to the top. Grab the next one. All right. And well, I gotta do the next one. I believe I already messed with this to where it's not a big problem. Yeah, I did. Okay, nope. Go to weather effects. That's already done. Entity removal. Actually, just want to make sure. Yeah, it involves tile entities and. Wait. This is not entity removal. This is tile entity removal. So that's fun. Yeah, the only place it's marked is there. That was a mistake over, I guess it's an MCP. You don't say tile entities, it's tile entity. Ah. Now, go ahead and do this. Yeah, that's all good. And yep. That should be fine. And now what we gonna do? What I'm gonna do is, let's see, where is this instantiated? Go ahead and delete you, because we actually don't need it anymore. Alright, world renderers. Let's see, so we don't actually care about clearing anything here, because it's just referencing what's in the world, and the world is going to manage itself. There, the coder exists. I mean, what do you want me to do? So, take this.mc dot the world dot was it loaded tile entities? I believe is the name, but I want to make sure. Oh, I guess we're fine. There we go. We're gonna get, so if it has, or actually you have to grab it, hold on. Oh wait. Alright. If you... I wish it was just part of the, rather than this, but whatever. A dot. There we go. We're gonna render... Yep. Thank God that the length of this doesn't actually matter that much in Java. I don't actually know, like, I know it matters to a lesser extent, but I'm not sure how much. Ah. Glad that we got some water. Alright, so this seems like a better solution because it goes through less hoops. Unlike this. I am happy about this solution to a lesser extent. However, it overcomplicates things, so whatever. Now, hold on. Oh my, there we go. Just delete the class, we're all done with it. And that seems to be fine, because this, I actually wonder like how it's added. Wait, what? Oh, right. And then the, what does is invalid mean? Like, it's just like a boolean. Wait, what? Yeah, it's just, wait, what validates and what invalidates it? I guess versus, well, let's look at invalidate now. Huh. So, second. I wish I could just press the mute button, but it doesn't do anything. Oh, it actually does. I swear it didn't. But it broke. Well, great. Remember, just like I was fixing with audio issues, the reason why I was having issues before with audio was because of the I had a camera attached and it was using that instead of the microphone, which made the audio sound awful and also always there. So yeah. Also, this music is fun. Also, is it hold on. Let me make sure that the audio is. Huh, do I have to keep it on screen or for it to not? Hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna set it near the end of the song. Sorry if you like the song, I'll play it again. But let's see what happens. It doesn't update if it's minimized. I am so sorry. I did not mean to do that. Keep that in mind. That's unfortunate, actually. Okay, so let's put you in the top right corner and you in the bottom right corner. Oh, I want you in the bottom right corner. There we go. Oh wait, that completely screws up my entire thing. There we go. Just I'll leave it like this. Alright, I guess I can... well... Yeah, because it's still... I can't change the window size of VLC, otherwise I screw up everything, because, you know... I don't like the way that OBS does its transform, but I'm glad to have it. So, anyway, this is just good to sit here. Nice. Nothing's messed up. Okay. Alright, like that. And then I can't actually just make that go down, so I can do like a little wait. It don't work. I'm trying to mess with these damn windows. Oh man. Well, I'd rather be able to see the stream, and yeah. We'll just do it this way. And I'll have to keep it tabbed up until, there you go. Wish I could see the chat very well. Let's see if I move this off the side, right? Still render the... Wait, it doesn't. It can only render when it's on screen. That's really... I didn't know that. Okay. I thought it would just keep capturing whatever comes from the GPU. I thought the GPU kept rendering when it's off screen. Never mind. Interesting. The more you know. Well, at least the bar seems to be pretty nice. Spent like a few hours dealing with that yesterday. Running my mouse over it. Oh, okay, I think I have to tab in. Yeah, I have to tab into it and I can see the mouse. Doesn't matter that much. Anyway. So... the only time that a tile entity will be loaded is if it's within render range or within server loading range. And the thing is about tile entities is that we only really care about them being rendered if they're within the simulation range. I know, it's pretty big brain. I remember this from playing Minecraft for several years. By that I mean since 2013, but it doesn't seem to render tile entities unless you're within server simulation range rather than from render range, which is totally fine by me because entities only render within that range as well. So let's see. Yeah, so it literally also just gets the entity loaded list and renders it. So what's the difference to tile entities? I also want to point out that the way that I believe it actually gathered tile entities last, or in the past, is it would, or before I started programming this, is the world renderers themselves would pull through their regions. By the way, this is all single threaded, so it just has to go through one by one each block, which is insane to think about, all by itself, and pull the tile entity, and then has to check it, add it to the list if it needs to be added to the list, and just keep going, and then it wipes it at the end and redoes it again. I'm pretty sure it would wipe it at the end. It seems like it was. Because, like, when I looked in the code, it was like, if you've ever seen that game where it's like 3 cups, you know, you have 3 cups, and you put like a coin or something underneath one of the cups, actually usually like an orange or a ball, but like, and then you shuffle the cups around. That's what it kind of looked like in the code. It was just like, we're gonna move all of these into a list, and then we're gonna do something with this list, and then we're put them all back in the same list. It's like, what? I think what it was actually doing is, because even though it's adding it to a local list, like, as in local to the object, as in to the world renderer, I think it was actually adding it to the render global list, but it just looked like you're just shuffling cups around with no seen benefit, because it was just like the same list. Anyway, we don't need to do it twice, because the world does it for us. Yay. I wonder how taxing this is, let's see. And this is defined right where? Right here. Okay. Class. I just want to point out we can also get this. Wait, what is the hash map has 2 inputs? Yeah, key value. So what is the key and what is the value? Looks like the output is supposed to be a tile entity renderer class, and the input is supposed to be a class. Got it. You give it a class, it gives you back the tile entity renderer. Now, we need to look at all instances of this. I might want to sing Alpha, but I also don't want to blow out your ears. Alpha is a great song, as you can see. In the bottom right there. I love Alpha. Actually, I'm trying to learn it on my guitar, but that is for another time. Right now, we are programming Minecraft instead. So, values iterator, so that's going to be these, obviously. And then we don't need to cast anymore. And I believe that's it. The ability to set your the types for a list and array is like, in my opinion, undervalued feature. If you're using these, I don't like using arrays like this that much. I understand them, however, if you're using objects and not primitives. Like, if you're using a primitive, you should basically be using array methods, because using any other array method or any other array type is just too memory intensive. If you are, well, okay, if you have very large lists of something, the storage size is going to be insane if you're not using the most primitive list type, because it inflates a lot. But however, it's much more malleable using the class variants. I think that there are wrapper classes, not the like the ones that have a microphone and tell you words. I'm talking about like someone who has like plastic wrap and they're wrapping a box, like that kind of wrapping, or Christmas present wrapping. It's almost Christmas, right about that. So that kind of wrapping. Anyway, I also somehow managed to miss this, which I'm glad I found. Nice. So we have all of these. There's actually not that many tile entities. I'm surprised. I can always add more in the future in like version 1.1, 1.2 of my mod. I don't know. Right now we're trying to just get the game working again. I think I'm pretty close though. Let me see what time it is. I'm having a blast. Just chilling. Alright, 8:32. Not that close. Need more water. Might end up needing to leave some water at some point, but I hope not soon. So let's go ahead and close all of these irrelevant Java classes. All right. So now what we need to do. So let's review all of the rendering things we need. So of course we need to be able to generate the things that are rendering. We need to be able to render the things that need to be rendered. So, like, at the current tick. And the way that we do that, just to make sure, because I don't want to mess things up and get things wrong, I need to pull up on GitHub right now. I apologize if there's someone in the chat, but I cannot see it. Nope, there's no one there. Thank God. Actually, I wish there were people here to listen to me. Yeah, but it's okay. To some extent. It's less lonely, but it's still kind of fun to talk. When you're talking. Just any way you splice it, live streaming just sounds so insane. But, if GitHub did not have their search feature, I would be in a riot, because there's no other way to get to the code that I want without a search function. Where the fuck is? Oh. Oh, that's actually not what I wanted. How do I search again? Oh, in fact, search. Nope. Nope. Glad there's no issues in the docket, because I'm very upset. This is a private repo. In this repository, under global.java. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I did not open the. Here we go. There's a lot here. This is not the search function I was looking for, however. Where's all... Oh my god. There's crash reports in here? Are you kidding? Let's see what's back here. It's gonna be like in the middle of the weeds. It's like right here. Nope. It's somewhere in here. Come on. I don't remember where the actual search feature is, but this will have to do for now, because I cannot find it. So, here we go. This is what I wanted. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and save this in a Discord chat so I can pull it up next time quicker. But alright. Now, I should probably actually announce that I'm streaming to my friends if they really want to bother me. Let me grab the link of the live stream. There's the share button. Alright. And if they want to bother me, they now can. So that's exciting. I mean, if I really want an audience, I should probably actually go like to a public Discord, although they don't usually like that. So, modification station, rules. What do I want to do? I don't really frequency. I don't think anyone uses this for this. No, I'm just gonna leave it alone. That's fine. I don't need people to bother me. It's okay. Well, someone randomly clicked on the stream and was like, "I don't like this." Like an hour. I was an hour. It's streaming an hour. Only like 46 minutes. It was like how long ago? Like 40 minutes ago. 45 minutes ago. Okay. Anyway, now I need to read through this and find the I think it's like sort and render or something. So of course we have render entities, load renderers, yeah, generate world renderers. Oh wait, this is the one it's not what I wanted. Is this? No. Certainly not the one I want. Damn it. Where is it? Oh. I want patch 133. How can I go to the commits? 127, that was the one I wanted. There we go, commit. That's there we go, browse files. Now, I believe if I go to SRC, then click go to file, and then click, there we go, that's what I wanted. Right here. This is the place I wanted, alright. Let me go ahead, place that there instead. Dope. Alright, now I have the actual version. Oh, one second. Nothing major. Just someone sent me a news article. Let's see, I think it is sort and render. So, of course, it wants to load renderers. I think I will be forced to do that. Also, I can now get rid of this. I just want to point out how simple this function is. It's nice. Also, I need to get rid of these. So, most of it is managed in this, because the reason why I have this here is because I may want to also do that later, which you can see. Well, actually not here, but still nice to have it in a separate place. It's like, oh no, what if I want to do regenerate elsewhere? Although this is the only place it'll probably end up being used. I think it is private, actually. Public? Yeah, it's private, so. Oh well. Nice to have it packaged in one place. And then, of course, you have load renderers, which, we give it a comment. It's I mean, it loads the world renderers, so, or generates the world renderers. Is this, no. Actually, honestly, I don't know why this is, here, but where is this used? Yeah, it's only used there. So what I can do instead is I can just be like, hey, I want you to be over here. And then I move you here. Yep. Hope there's no more errors. And then it's off by 1. Excuse me? What is up? What is this nonsense? I think that was off by 1 for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, not that important. And now I can... Well, actually, I can go ahead and copy this comment. There we go. Problem solved. So, in load renderers, it actually does do... It has essentially this nice little if statement, which is awfully similar to this one. It's the same one. And, it's just easy at the start to finish the occlusion or the frustrum. And, of course, like, if it's, you know, in the floor, for example, get all that done. I don't actually know precisely how it works, to be honest. All I know is that, you know, the process which I have it set up works, and it's in the proper order as it was in vanilla. Just kind of annoying to have these opaque functions that I don't really know what they're doing. So it's somewhat obvious with like the OpenGL ones, but with these it's less obvious, like completely non-obvious. So that's fun. Now, render entities, the render clouds, the render fancy. I believe these are used elsewhere, right? Yep. Because wonder what things reference render gold. A lot of things, but not actually that many things. So entity renderer references us with render. What is render world? Oh yeah, render cloud. Well, Alright, so... Alright. This is a float, right? Interesting. Also, I'll fix this later whenever I actually can see the world again. However, I need to fix something relating to fog. I found a bug in my thing earlier. Oh, that. Oh boy. As cloud fog is the stupidest function ever. It's hilarious. It just returns false. And I removed it, and I guess I didn't remove its references, so now it just bothers me. Also, what is this? Explicit coding set? I don't know what to do with this. What do you want me to do? Quick fix. Code project encoding to Windows. Eh? I don't want it to have a specific encoding set because it's supposed to be on Linux and Windows. What? Also, I learned of this really cool function for integers. Just a side note. I looked it up and I, just took it. So... interesting. If num equals 0, we should return 0, which essentially makes it to where the if we use this really big empty space over here. So logarithm, if you imagine this being, or just like imagine a vertical line and x-axis here. Actually, we can use the if I select this right here. Actually, where here? I'll use that as the x-axis. So if we have a y-axis right here, the logarithm goes to negative infinity whenever x equals 0, and then it goes up, and at x equals 1, then it breaches the x-axis. It thinks it's the same for all logarithms. Yeah, because it's the same for also all exponentials, because it's the inverse of exponentials. Anyway, and then it will, of course, careen off like this. However, in this definition of this function, instead of it doing that, because of course it's not continuous either, it's for integers only. If you imagine it, I guess if it were roughly continuous, it would look like, of course, the y-axis here, this is where 0 is. It would just go flat, and then as it hit 1, then it would bounce up like this. Because there's no other value you can really give it, so might as well just return 0. Because for all intents and purposes, log 2 is only, in my opinion, not really useful for much. I mean, I haven't seen anyone complain about it yet, but I use it for a few calculations for the sake of knowing what to right shift by. So, or right shift or left shift by, because it's right and left shifting is essentially the same as multiplying with its left. Right shifting is divide by 2 to the power of whatever number you put on the right hand side of the operator. So if you use log 2 of your original thing you want to divide by, you'll end up getting, well, assuming it's a power of 2 in the first place, you'll end up getting, well, otherwise you won't get a precise value. But if it is, you will get the exponent, which is what you're actually, of course, putting on the right-hand side of that bit shift operator. Nice little math thing. And if it's 0, you don't really want it to do anything. If it's right shift, like, if I want to, if I as if I wanted to divide by 0, which doesn't make much sense, but if there's like some weird thing that's happening, I'd rather the program not crash. That would be a bummer. So right shift and left shift by 0 is better. So funny that dividing by 0 crashes the game, or crashes the program. Also, after I reinitiate the stream, the drop frames are much better. Very nice. Alright, time to fix some issues once I create a... Assuming we need one. Do we? Render entities. Of course, we have marked renders for new position. Oh no, I don't really care about this. Sort and render. This was I do actually need to examine this function, unfortunately, even though it's like absolutely a horrendous function. And so, actually, what uses it? First of all, what's complaining basically? Sort and render. But it uses it 3 times? What? Eh? What is this number? So we have the water. Wait, what? Huh. Okay. So 1 means like, so 0 seems to mean to like terrain, non-translucent, so opaque. Sorry, and then this appears to refer to translucent things, and this is for water, which makes sense, which is really weird. Okay. So with the way that my code is run, I don't remember. Is there like a rent? Hold on. I feel stupid having to ask this question. Hold on. I'm sure it is. Render blocks. Wow. Won't even give me the right one. It's all the way down to the bottom. How rude. Alright, so in render blocks, I assume there's a render water function. Doesn't make much sense. Actually, we can go to block water. Actually, no, that's not how it works. So let's go to here it is. So render block fluids, and well, huh. Actually, Okay. Okay. I see what they're doing. I see what I need to do. Alright, so this actually goes back all the way to this. Damn nose. I want to be able to speak. My nose keeps on stuffing up. It's annoying. Please. Stop. Stop. Alright, so we need to pass in an integer render pass. And we're going to we only care about this is a nice little function I use to make sure that it is within bounds. 0. There we go. So so the way we can do this and separate them sufficiently is like this. We can do it like this, and like this. Not what I wanted. And we can splice it like that, and then because I need them to be in separate things, because I need to set them in an if-else statement. Right. There we go. And so now it will either render the alpha calls or the opaque calls. Now, before, the reason why I was just doing them all together is because I didn't really think it mattered. I mean, I guess they are in separate. They're originally in separate render passes. However, it didn't really seem to matter. Like, whenever I was looking at in like World Renderer, it would just render them one after another. Like, it just it didn't really seem to matter. However, I would say here, it does demand separate render passes. We can of course revert it if we want to, so it's not that big of an issue. But this render pass here, if it's opaque, and of course if it is in fact, what does it call it? It says alpha calls because it refers to like the transparent transparency value. I guess I should say transparency calls. And so now let's move back into, yeah, because now I've made render global upset. Execute renderers. Do int render pass. And also, let's do it this way, because I don't want to have to do this every single time. It's also 0. I mean, we don't actually need to check. We don't necessarily need to check, because it's literally a binary case of if it is 0 versus not 0. And if it's not 0, then hey, I mean, like, there you go. There is no 2, there is no 3, so I'm just gonna default to doing alpha. So anyway, of course we try draw, and so what this function does essentially is it, of course, starts out successful, and if any of them fail, they shouldn't fail, but if somehow they do, then yeah, there's basically no way that it can fail, but we make sure to demark it just in case for safety, because of course the main thread is the only thing that can render. So if somehow multiple things are rendering at once, which doesn't make any sense unless we're doing multi-threaded rendering, which don't work in the Minecraft infrastructure nor Java. But I actually did want to set up a dedicated rendering thread, but I figured out that it was I would have to feed all of the keyboard and mouse inputs and outputs. I guess just mostly outputs. I'd have to feed them through the thread, and therefore delaying it a lot. It would have... So the input delay would be the same, is essentially what it would be, I guess. Or probably roughly the same. It was just not worth it. Because essentially I would have to give over every single OpenGL call to it, and every time I wanted to call an OpenGL call that returned nothing, it'd be fine, you know, we just like tell it to do this thing next and it would do it. But if I wanted to get a value from OpenGL, it would be a nightmare, which is unfortunate because keyboard and mouse requires that a lot. So, plus I want to be able to implement this controller in the future, so yep. So anyway, that's not that big of a deal anyway. This is like maybe I think there's a few hundred extra nanoseconds after all in the end, so. So now we go back to the sort and render, and I need to read this thing. Well, I prefer to, like, you know, I'd love to paste it in here, but I'm reading this. Actually, I mean, I can pull it over. There's no harm here. So my mouth's close to the microphone. So I'm not putting it on screen, unfortunately, but in here it will check for render distance. Okay, so I guess we might as well just copy paste the whole thing. It's probably the easiest way to do it. Where am I? Okay, there I am. Here comes the behemoth. Great. This thing literally makes the whole class instantaneously, like, and it's 107, but we're approaching 2,000. We are still less than 2,000, which was, I believe, 2,100, I think, was the original, like, hold on, make sure, or before I started messing with it a lot. Yeah, it's 2,052, so we are much less, which hopefully means more efficient by a long shot. Ugh. So this is gonna be from 0 to 3, and usually what we would do if we wanted to convert this into, let me just look at load renders quickly. There are a lot of errors in there. Oh yeah, this function. Right. That's what it was. So we do have a lot of things in here that are noted or need to be noted. So first of all, yeah, so this is where we need to move all of the renderers by so translate all world renderers. Yeah. This looks to be the world x-axis and the world z-axis. So we're gonna do that. Change that there just to be clear. All right. So translate here. Go ahead and plunk this in here. Surprised there is no floor double function. X offset. How did I figure that out last time? Oh yeah. So here's the thing. The Y offset, is this used elsewhere? No. Okay, it's just here. The Y offset doesn't really matter. Sorry to say, but it don't matter. Why, might you ask? Well, because, world renderers stay put on the y-axis because it's just a... I guess whenever the render distance is maximized, it's just like a pancake. And it don't go higher than that because the world won't render there. Instead, we just render the world below you while you can't see it, so that's... Yep. What's weird here, by the way, is that what this is saying, because this is x offset squared and z offset squared, I'm thinking Pythagorean here. X squared, I guess, I'll think, x squared plus z squared equals radius squared, and the radius is, squared is 16, so r squared is 16, so r is 4. So every 4 blocks? I think it makes more sense to do 256 here. Or at the very least, like 192. Nah. Really, 16? Hold on, what? No way. Showing you 4, let me think. Cause like, it's the, so this value used to be, in the previous iteration. This was the center X and center Y, not center Y, center X and center Z of the, world rendering zone, you could say. So it's not like it's like, because of the situation I was imagining is originally, essentially, it's checking for the previous tick position, and so you could just like walk towards you just like shimmy towards the edge of the map and just fall off. No. So, that means, I would say at the very least, because this is 4 squared, I would do 64. Because then it's 8 blocks. Which, well, 8 blocks could be... Yeah. I just don't see the reason why we need to translate them, like, 24/7. You know? And, there's the other thing as well, which is, and I think it should be fine. The original Minecraft code renders 512 blocks across. It actually renders an extra chunk for the radius, so you have like a center chunk and then all the chunks around it. And of course, this would mean in actuality, if you had like, I don't know, 32 chunk render distance, it would actually be 33. So, which is really unclean to actually calculate with. So instead of 1684, it'd be whatever the hell this number is. So, yuck. So instead, I am rendering with 512 by 512 by 256. So convert that into chunks. It's 32 by 32 by 16. That's the maximum. And then it scales on the X and Z axes depending on render distance. I think it's like 512, 256, and then, well, it's 512 divided by 2, which is 260, yeah. I knew that one. And then that'd be divided by 4? Yep, 128, and then that'd be divided by 8. Yeah. Because it's divided by 2 to the power of whatever number I get, remember? So, that's fun. I wonder if, when I said I was... I actually just want to see how it bothered them. If it bothered them at all. Alright. Nope. They're all, I think, asleep or procrastinating their own computer science projects because, let me say, programmers are complete losers. For the most part. Some of them are pretty cool, but a lot of them are basically losers, so it's just like, okay, boss. You're just gonna procrastinate, eat crappy food. There's nothing I can do to stop you, so. This is gonna be a player. Forgot to change. Oh, I forgot to do this. This would be render pass. This would be partial tick time. So we're gonna go ahead and translate all the world renderers over after calculating this. So the previous sort essentially is in load renderers, and I don't even know if I store the position that the center is. And we don't really care about the Y position. So that means if you stay within your chunk, it should be fine, but... What's interesting, though, if you imagine, like, So, of course, chunks are 16 by 16, and if we're considering the position that we want to say is the previous X, Y position, or X and Z position, for the sake of this, I assume I'm only really... Chill with these stupid... Amazing. God. I'll figure it out in a bit. Okay. Great. This is essentially it rendering partially. I think it is now. This is it. Looks like it's checking the query. What does BB mean? I don't know. Where is the like part where it creates the renders? Like, what? Huh. Interesting. Anyway. So we go into load renderers. Actually, is it even load renderers? So what we're gonna do instead is we're gonna have this other integer, and wait, what? Great. Gotta reload the program. It's all busted. One second. Nice Minecraft background, of course. Also, looks like I think some things broke. Did it break? Hold on. We're gonna position this like. Did I? There we go. That's good. So That's fixing VLC. There we go. What's it doing? For an hour and a half. Okay. Alright, right. So, time we do stuff with you. So, let me go ahead and actually, I forgot to copy it like an idiot. Okay, let's actually create a comment for this. All right. I wish I could show like the whole like graphic as it like shows the tracks, but with VLC. But at the same time, it's just, you know, all I show you is like this part where you can see the mouse right now, because then you can just see the name of the song at least. You know, you probably know them because you're a Minecraft nerd like I am. Just nice for the people who don't, I guess. First, let me copy this. All references of you. Thank you. And 0, 1. Gonna have to plus equals something. Not sure yet though. So let me think. Actually, it won't change. This it won't change here because way this works right here is if you imagine we go from a large render distance to a small render distance, it will yeah, because this is the bottom, so this is considered the back right corner, so this is going to be into the coordinates, the smallest corner. And so if you add to it, it will move inward. And if you subtract from it, it'll move outward. So if the old render distance is greater than the new render distance, then it will move inward because it's a positive integer. And if it is a negative integer because the old render distance is smaller than the new render distance, then it's going to move outward. And luckily, the center does not change at all. This shouldn't. It shouldn't. I mean, the same chunk is exactly the center, although... Not really precisely the case. I'm trying to think about it, because... we have to pick, like, an actual... So, can I can't really visualize this. So, try to imagine a grid, let's just say a 16 by 16 grid, because it's easy. That's like a chunk. And I want to define the center block. Of course, it's even number of blocks wide, or even number of grid squares wide. So it's going to be a 2 by 2 if I want to get like an actual, area as opposed to just like a point. So I have to choose one of those. It's the place in which the player resides. Bummer. So it doesn't really matter, does it? Because I mean, I can't. There's no way to like leave the player on the chunk border at all times. That won't work. So, we can add the. So we have. So if you add. So okay, let's go to a transient. So all right. We're going to start with something simple. We'll go ahead and do this. Oh, and then of course, what merchant by 4? And then we're going to, well, if we add 8, then that will be, this goes 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's the 0, so there's actually 9 long. You can add 7. Do some weird stuff here. Alright, plus 7, I guess. I'll compromise for the 8th. And essentially what this does is it will lock it to the grid, the chunk grid, but in world coordinates. So, yeah. And since the so the player is always supposed to be within whichever chunk the player is in, that's what's supposed to be. It's supposed to be centered around. So, I'm trying to remember, like, okay, I need to draw some diagrams. Hold on. I gotta get a pen and paper. Do I have any pen and paper? Because there's something fishy going on with this calculation, so I need to figure out what it is. Aha! I have a map of other paper used for a geometry problem for this project. I'm going to grab. Albeit a rapidly declining pencil because I use it constantly at school. So, if we imagine, I think we just need a grid that's even in number here. So, if I have a grid of you can imagine this in your mind, or yes, or draw it yourself if you want, but I'm gonna do it by myself. Or imagine a grid that is 4x4, and go ahead and draw that. Actually, there's an easier way to draw this, so I don't mess up the lines. First, cut in half, then cut this region in half. Same here. Although this is not very precise, because of course I drew by hand. It gets the point across. So, if let's say, because of course the player has to be in one of these. And of course, we consider the back, and from this top-down perspective, so top-down. So in this instance, the back left corner is 0, 0. Or like the 0 point on this box grid. You can imagine having an X and Z axis that goes from, you know, at coordinate 0, or at the coordinate 0, 0, we have our first box pointing up into the right, just like the coordinate plane. Now, jeez. If we were to say that the player is somewhere within this shade region, so I'm shading in the region. If you have your 4x4 square, and the bottom left corner is 0, 0, then the first box in the bottom left is 0, 0, and it ascends to where the top right corner is 3, 3. I'm at 2, 2, and I pick the bottom left corner to be, of course, the start of that coordinate. Then, if I were to subtract half of that, then we'd achieve that corner. Now, of course, that's where the player is. Yep, that makes sense. And, well, of course, there's one chunk missing here as we extend. Well, we're not extending to infinity, but if we did, then that'd be pretty dope if I could. As we extend this to 512, or not, I just noticed 32 by 32, it doesn't really make a difference. It's barely noticeable. And if it's 64 by 64, that's still 8 by 8, and that's also still barely noticeable. So what I could do is compromise where the... Okay, let's imagine this is another algorithm. Okay, so let's imagine instead of pinning... This actually might work. Rather than pinning it at the center of the chunk, because that would make sense if we're talking about odd sizes. Now, let's imagine it's, of course, even-sized. We said that. And we want it to stay pinned at the center. And I want the player to be able to meander roughly 8 blocks around it, radius, of course, in a box. Now, still keep your previous drawing or whatever you had before, and instead draw. So of course, you have your box at the coordinates 2, 2. We discussed before. I created a little like circle, or not circle, like a little dot at the bottom left corner of that grid square. Then I created a thicker line going down by 2 and then back by 2 to signify like where it was. Now, if you imagine this coordinate, I'm going to now split so of course there's 2 lines intersecting, one for the top and one for the side. I'm going to cut those lines in half according to the grid squares adjacent to it. So like, what it should look like whenever you are done is that you have like a weird cross shape in between 4 squares. And then I'm now going to fill in that box as like another grid square. So essentially what I'm saying is, I'm going to grab my camera actually for this. This might be fun. Though I will have to turn it off and keep it in a different... I'll test it out for a second before I turn it on, because I'm not doing a face reveal. Camera app? Manage cameras. Alright. Where are you? Alright. So if I imagine... Hold on, let me just like use it. I guess use it as a handheld or a. I do have a stand I could use. But... Now I just gotta make sure not to point it at myself. Let me see. I'm gonna create a camera source. Yep. Hold on. Just so we can know. Nope. Okay. We go ahead and close this. I don't know where you are. Do I have to close OBS in order to hold on? I may. That'd be very unfortunate. I have to stop recording. Camera. Does that work? Oh, it does. All right, dope. So, I'm assuming it's already in there. Yeah, you can probably see it already, even though I literally just. Yeah, that works. All right. So I'm gonna put this unprofessionally in the center here. Enlarge it because there's some geometry. So, as you can see, try not to shake it too much. We have our starting at 0. We went up to the side by 2, and then we went up by 2. This is our 2, and we can see our grid square right here. I'm gonna shade it in, and you can see right there. And I'm saying we take this point at 2, 2, and we create a box with radius, well, side lengths of 8. I guess technically, radius is. What was it? 2 times x, was it? Well, it's 2x squared. Then you... Yeah, that would be 2... Square root of 2 times x. So, that would be like, I don't know, around 1.5. So it'd be around, like 11 point something is the radius at that point, but it doesn't matter. So, anyway. So, instead of having it, of course, pinned at the center, like, you know, right here, let's say, this point, which would be if it was odd, if we're thinking about it in terms of odd. However, if we're thinking about it in terms of even, we should pin it actually at the center of these 4. And if it goes outside of this range... Alright, so let's think about this. If the player goes to the left, we should pin it then... If the player goes left, so draw that arrow. Then we should then pin it here. Of course, if it goes right, do the same here. If it goes up, and then if it goes down, now, and then of course it would just create like a loose box around each of these. Now the only problem I would have here, which we can solve, don't worry, is the corners. Hold on, let me just refocus this. Can I? Come on. Doesn't want to refocus. There we go. You can see like the penciled in boxes here. And so, essentially what I think we should do is we should take this, for example, and then of course we have this. So let's think of it like this is the directions that we could possibly end up going in. And so yeah, hold the camera steady and focus it again. This would not work again. All right. So if you look at the drawing here, use it a little bit more. You can see a little better. So, right. Let me try to. There you go. right there, that little dot. Of course, not the arrow itself, but like slightly shaded in region. That's if it were odd. And we're going to see if we can figure out, of course, the even situation. And so, instead, we can imagine this, of course, center, and we have the 8x8 boxes, or 16x16 box centered in the center here, with a radius of 8 on either side. Now, how does it respond to the player moving here? Well, we have to respect the coordinate system. So, if, let's think about the player if it's on the edge here. We're thinking about the border here. Of course, it has to favor somewhere. So, what we're gonna do is it will scratch my face. I'm thinking about, first of all, just like the centerpiece to the left, because I think that's like one of the easier cases. So let's imagine just in this one dimension, if we're on the border, we should give it to, we should round up, it seems. We should round to 2,2, right? If we are, but less than that, we should go to 1,2, right? Also, I need to grab my phone and check it, so 1 second. Set the camera down like that. Okay, what? Alright. Well, it'll be like midnight. I'm done, so who knows? I will have to go and be right back in a few minutes. However, I have to set up my be right back screen, because I thought that I'd have to be right back, but okay. So, please focus. There we go. In this case, it looks like it's literally just a round from 1 to 2, based on the this is like a float divide rather than a. So we can probably create a comparison function instead, so we don't have to do actual division, because that's very taxing performance-wise. But anyway, so if we move to the left, of course it'll round down. If it's 1.49 repeating, I guess not repeating, but anything less than that, yeah. And then it'll round down to 1. And then if it's anything greater than that, it'll round up to 2. And you can think of it as that's, let's see if we can apply that rule elsewhere. So let's think about the vertical, from right here to right here. That would be from 2 to 3, of course, on the x-axis, x-axis, z-axis. And so then that would, I guess, well, technically we're saying this is the z-axis, but it doesn't really matter. It's just, this is the horizontal, this is the vertical, in this, top-down look. Now, if it's less than 2.5, then of course we're going to round down. If it's greater than or equal to, we're going to round up. And then, so essentially it favors whoever in this situation of borders has the bottom left corner, per se. Let me just focus it again, hopefully. Come on. Autofocus is so broken. Not designed for stuff like this. Alright. Now, this seems to hold for those two cases. Now, what happens if we are on a corner? I don't think it'll change the rule, however, just gotta make sure. So if we imagine here, in both directions, we are, it's kind of complicated. So, in this instance, we are less than, or we're on this, let's say we're on this border. It looks like if we are on this side of the border, we should be given over to here. However, if we are explicitly in this region, it looks like it'll either give it. So if we are greater than, it's thinking just the thing on the vertical axis, we are. Let's think of first on the where we go through here. So if we are in, of course, this situation, if we are, first let's think about right here, just anywhere here, it'll end up going up to this line, or this vertical value, if we are above this halfway line right here. And similarly, it seems, if we are past this, it'll end up going over here. So it does seem, in fact, if you are in both situations, we are, in fact, within this region, thus rounding us over here. Now, it appears that, of course, this is less than, so this is, yes, this side would be not prioritized, this side would be prioritized. Seems to hold, this rule seems to hold. Okay, that seems to be good. So, what did we learn? Let me go turn off the camera now. Disable it. Actually, I'm gonna unplug it too, just to really complete the point home. So, oh yes. Oh god, it's in the way. Let me move it to the back. All right. So, what do we learn as a result? If we want to have it in those corners, we need to take the X and Z positions, or per position, we need to figure out what is it mod 16. So I guess we can probably just create a math help function, or we can just do some simple math. So what's some nice things is that anything mod power of 2 is the same as that number and that power of 2 minus 1. So like if I have 4096, if I want to do mod 4096, I can instead do and 4095. Very handy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this. So we're thinking about it this way. I wonder what the floor double function actually does. Oh. Is this round? Okay. Yeah, okay. So what we can do is, I don't know why this function seems awfully redundant, to be honest. I can just, hold on. F. Yes. So we're casting the integer, and we're getting the int x equals. We're gonna do equals. All right, and then we are going to actually, I kind of want to take in a Right, so move this over. I actually kind of want to make this a math helper function. So let's go ahead and do that. I assume I can. So we take let's call this let's create the grid position, I guess. And so right shift by 4. And then you'll take I'm thinking in terms of Python. And 15. I put that in parentheses. It's less than. Sorry, it's less than 8, I think. 0, 1, 2, yeah, it's 7 actually. Because yeah, because we're saying the bottom left corner is included in the next thing up. So 8. Wait, what? So yeah, it should split it evenly. Coordinate wise, we'd go from 0 to 7, but then we go to 8 to 15, which is 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, so it's still 8. It goes from 0 to 7 as well, so yeah, that's fine. Less than 7. That's gonna be. So this is our round to base 16. Looks awfully familiar to the where is it? Way up here. Here we go. Floor double. Very similar. Except for it's less than n and 15. Less than 8, actually. Yeah, it's less than 8, not less than 7. Otherwise, it would be offset wrong. There we go. So, this would be helpful. And so now that's rounding to the base 16. It will now center upon the nearest thing. I will say, though, it... Jeez. So, if you were to move in a diagonal direction, it would move a lot. The good news about this, though, I will say, is the bad news is if you're in the center of a chunk, you're going to be constantly changing the position. However, if you're in like the corners of a chunk, or in between chunks, which I mean, you won't be able to tell. Like most people can't tell where the chunk boundaries are, especially considering there's no like debug thing to show you. So I mean, who cares? But essentially, what it means is that the chunk grid for rendering is just offset from the chunk grid for I guess block management, which already actually a lot of things actually already work like that, so it's not that big of a shocker. So, but yeah, this seems to be how to do it. Nice. I like solving things with geometry on paper because it allows me to remember, first of all, in the future, to see what I did, but also it's kind of fun being like, let's go back to math class and solve things. I'm a math nerd, in case you couldn't tell. If you're not a math nerd, probably don't do programming. Like, otherwise you might end up like those lame squares that procrastinate all the time because they hate math and they're not willing to sit down and do the dirty work of all the math and solve it, so they don't have to write a bunch. All right. So. Let's see, where else do we need to set it? So when we translate all of the world renderers in terms of their world position, I'm trying to think about right here, because it doesn't really matter, does it? This matters, of course, at the start, because we need to pick out which corner to start in, but here, once we've established the corner, it doesn't matter? Hold on. It matters when we call this, which I think we already figured out. So, thinking, go back into sort and render. Right? This is the only place that this is called, right? And we say a distance of 8 from the, well, it's technically like literally. I personally would prefer if it was not like Pythagorean theorem, like circle radius, if it was more so like the box radius like we talked about, so that we don't have like this weird gray spot where it's like out of range of all of them. So I'm going to solve this in a second. There's like 2 do's, but all right, back down. So we're thinking it's going to trigger only whenever we are more than 8 away from, 8 in both directions from this. So this is only gonna be called essentially whenever we are greater than a distance of 8 away from it. So thinking it would essentially be checking along the bound. Oh, let's go back to a math algebra. So I'll be this. Okay. Yeah. So if the distance is this should work depending on how the bounds of this are set. Is this a position X or is this double? No. No, hold on. Let me grab you. There we go. So this will require 4 conditionals, so I don't have to use the math.absolute, or yeah, math, the absolute value function, because we care about the absolute value, not the magnitude, not the, we don't care about the sign in this check, so I wish I could just like get, how do you get the sign? My mind. Okay. No. Ah, I know what the issue is. Wait, do I? Okay. I need a break. I'm gonna go, be right back. I'll think about this. In the meantime, I'll let you guys enjoy. Let me go back to, I'm gonna, first of all, so I'm just gonna do this, and, oh, well, yeah. I'll minimize this, and then I'll add, some text. We'll go ahead and use Minecraft as long as it's fun. And yep. There we go. On the fly. There we go. Let me go ahead and center it then. I don't know if you guys, how much you guys can actually see. Oh, can't perfectly center it. That's okay. You guys can now listen to the nice Minecraft music while I go. And consider what is going on here. And go do, of course, other things in real life, so. We're back. I think it's maybe like 10-15 minutes, so if you're in a recording, try to just skip ahead like 10-15 minutes, you'll probably be there. I'm back. Switch off that and back onto ellipse. Move that down to the bottom. So it's no longer visible. Alright, so it was if we want to translate all the world renderers, when should we do this? We should do this when we meet the same conditions as we discussed on the paper. So if we we should get the integer of these. So okay. So if we're imagining, I'm gonna go back to the paper. I don't really have the camera's not plugged in anymore. We're gonna essentially imagine this is could have an ant. Imagine an ant traveling on the paper here. If it were to be, if the player x would be offset by some amount we discussed the same. So since it's pinned to the integer coordinates, it would on the border. It would, yeah. So let's imagine. So let's imagine the distance, because hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna do some quick math on the side here. So let's normalize this into world coordinates. So 2, 2 equals 32, 32, and we're saying that the player is at position. We said back in Math Helper that if it is less than 8, so from 0 to 15, and then from 16 to 31, yeah, so then that would be from 16 to 31, so that we would, if we wanted to, this is hard. Let me visualize. Okay, so let's go back here. So this line, the box, if you remember back to the drawing from earlier, you can go back in the live stream if you want to see it again, like take an image of it. Nothing's really changed about the drawing. If we are at a halfway position, which is 8, which would be 7 or 8. So 7 would be we are going to collapse towards, and we would collapse. We would essentially round down, and if it was 8, we would round up. So if we want to simulate that similar thing, you know what the difference is here, which would essentially be negative here, so we can say that. Okay, I understand what it would be. Do I understand what it would be? Okay, so of course we have 4 conditions for this if statement, and we have to account for the top, the left, the right, and the bottom, so all 4 sides. However, it's not actually that hard because we're just checking like basically absolute value. Alright, so we said that if so 23, so let's say from 32, so yeah, okay, so 32, 32, that's the middle position we talked about earlier. In world coordinates, we multiply the coordinates by 16 if they are on the grid, or on the grid points. And we say we're at 23, 32. So we're on that line to the left. If we were at 23, which means we are here. the distance between 32 minus 23 equals 9. So if I don't want to have to create an if statement for all the conditions. So what I would like to do instead is take the take this. Is this the only use of this variable? Pretty sure this is. Yeah, okay. What I'd actually rather would do is take this and do math helper. Let's go ahead and just, discard this for now. I think the intuition is still helpful. We're just gonna use it for something else. So, math helper dot round base 60, I believe was the function name. We're going to round to base 16, and then we're going to actually, I think this is what we need. Okay, hold on. All right, so let's go ahead and comment this out very quickly, just so I can read it for a second, so I can see what it looks like. So this is essentially what this is going to do. This is going to snap this onto the base 16 grid as a and of course this takes in world coordinates. Yeah, it definitely takes in world coordinates, and it's going to snap it onto the nearest grid like we discussed earlier on the paper, and it does precisely what you would think, because if you think back over here, we took the position here. So this is our new position, and what we're going to do is we're going to subtract this by the center, the position. This is going to, of course, what we talked about earlier, where it's rounded to base 16. And so there are only there's only 3 values this can take. Either like these, well, of course, you can create like 9 values this could possibly take as together, but I'm saying one of these variables, it can either equal -16, +16, or 0. 0 means no change. -16 means moved to the left, as in like to the negative direction. Think about like if you're looking at like a piece of paper with an X and Y axis, but X and Z axis, to horizontal and vertical. There we go. That would mean left. If it is positive, then it means move right. If it's negative on the other one, that's going to be move down and then move up. So yeah, it really just depends on your perspective of which axis is which, because you can just rotate because it's 3-dimensional, and all that. So it doesn't really matter. It just matters that they're perpendicular. So So what I'm thinking is, because it can only take on 3 values, if this offset is not 0, that's all that matters. The reason is because, as we stated before, this can only take on 3 values, and those 3 values correspond to what we talked about earlier with the geometry there. Now, I think that's the solution we're going for. It looks clean as well, so I will take it. Way to go ahead and move on to the next part. Oh. So the first thing I would like to do whenever I am fixing code is to tear it down to its most simplified form in its current inception, and then after that, go from there and figure out what I want to keep and what I don't want to keep. We can go ahead and actually just comment this out for now. Actually, I'll keep it here just so I know that the errors are there, just so I can remember to do it. I don't want. Oh, did I close it on accident? God damn it! All right. Where is this? So this is 0. So So this is supposed to return an integer, and I don't really understand precisely what this integer is, because let's just call this the return value for now. Don't I have a function like that? I know I do. I just don't remember what it was. Manage occlusion and frustrum. So this one, right? So in case you're wondering the reason why I don't in this code, why I don't update the occlusion result of I don't update the occlusion result of all of them, and the reason is because this is called every single frame. I mean, it makes sense, because the camera can get moved any frame. But that means we only care about the ones in frame, because it's going to have to update all of them regardless. So we essentially update in frustrum, and then we don't mess with this unless we need to. And of course, it's all synchronized and all that. So this just returns the value of update in frustrum. So if it's going to update, if it's true, then it will allow it to be checked for occlusion. Otherwise, we don't really care. So that's nice. I might play my guitar for Sweden at the end of the stream. It'll be fun. I learned it on a guitar. It's too good of a song. I want to learn Alphabet. It's 10 minutes long, so it's kind of. I mentioned this before that I was learning it, but. Yep. Wait, what? What? Huh. So what's actually important to glean from this code is what of course, yeah, render pass right there. What's important to glean from this code is not really like anything in here, because well, not anything in here. Some of the things in here. There's a few things in here. What matters is to sorry, trying to think about what this was doing. I'll look at that in a second. Essentially, we're trying to take all the GL calls and figure out what they mean, because that's actually what matters. Everything else doesn't matter, because well, it don't matter, you know. Wow, that's a great explanation. No, it doesn't matter because we're not using that code anymore. But it doesn't matter what the OpenGL calls are doing, because we will have to replicate them in some manner in order to have the same output or similar output. Hopefully, I mean, it's pretty similar, but yeah. Glad that the connection is stabilized, because that was a nightmare. Also, I mean, like, I don't really know how to increase. Hold on, if I just like scroll a lot, will that change the bitrate? It's gonna be a constant. It's not a variable. Okay. No, we just can't hit the bitrate that I want. Oh well. I mean, it is hold on. Math time. 4,500 divided by 8 is approximately, well, that many kilobytes a second. Hold on. What value is that? It's only like. It's only about 55% of a megabyte. Is the average bitrate of the stream, despite the fact my internet can definitely support more than that. But oh well. That's why I'm gonna put the recording up on Rumble. That's a fact. Hoping that people will sub enough to where I can actually stream on Rumble as well. I'll be dual streaming on both. Assuming my internet can support it, of course. I'll try. I'll do a tester stream that's private and see if I can support it, and then of course I'll go from there. Need to bump that. Also, I mean, if I should have brought this up at the start. Keep in mind, because this is a hobby, just because, like, these are not linear in the same sense of what you see in the previous stream is going to be what I'm doing in the next stream. Not that you probably want to see me deal with just this nonsense, sort and render, all the time, but, I mean, I work on it, like, during the day sometimes as well, so. Oh, the left shifted by 1. Oh, what times 2? What? Eh? I have no idea what. What is... Actually, don't know what that's doing. Well, it's not important though, is it? Looks to be some sort of index. Looks to be a max index of sorts. Well, looks to be the minimum index. So I guess we can just call this. Does this change? Hold on, first of all. Okay, it doesn't change. So I can just. And what's nice about this is that I can be like, hey, I have to replace alt 0 with just the digit. I don't know if that's an artifact of the compiling that Java does into bytecode whenever you turn into a jar file, but yeah. So whenever you compile your code in Java into like a jar file, it converts into this thing called bytecode, which actually looks a lot like Python in my opinion, even though it's not. And the thing about this bytecode is it likes to, well, it's basically the interpreter compressing the code, applying shortcuts, stuff like that. So essentially what ends up happening is, in a lot of cases, it'll overcast. So like it'll do implicit casting, where it's like, you know, you're casting from, let's say, a float to a double, where it doesn't like do anything. But it will still play like a little, you know, with the cast, it'll play like parentheses double. And so like if you uncompile that from bytecode, there's a tendency sometimes to have a bunch of useless random functions that they would just have used internally as like essentially like return functions. Of course, I mentioned there'd be overcasting, which sounds like the sky is gray, but I don't mean that. And then there's other weird stuff like that. And one of them includes creating like variables sometimes for constants, where there's like a local variable, not even like a global variable, not global, but like global to the class, sort of like, you know, like 0, for example. And then every instance I use 0, I replace it with this, you know, 0 instance. I mean, it's sometimes helpful. I will say, doing that is helpful if you, like if you want to operate using bytes, for example. It's useful to put your constants into variables, because otherwise it'll implicitly just turn it into an integer, and then at the output of the operation will be an integer. But if you keep them, if you have variables, it'll keep it as the original type. So that's nice. Well, unless there's like an explicit, like, okay, if essentially it picks whichever type has the this is like an order, but essentially it's like the most complexity. So like if you have, let's say, like, it goes, essentially, I guess in terms of math, you can think of it like this: it goes from byte to short to integer to long, and all of those are trumped by all of those are going to be trumped by float and double. Like, otherwise it would have just deleted the decimal value, and that wouldn't be worth it. Just do that and it just deletes the decimal. That'd be stupid, but it is what it is. And so Java, man. Lost my train of thought as well, which is just great. Doing this is fun, also tiring, but I don't think I can get much further, but I can can go ahead and just refactor a few extra things for extra locals. What is variable 35 again? Alright. We could just put that there then. Wait. Wait, what does this even mean? It's the so this gives you the actual distance, like not squared distance. And then this will divides by 128. So what? Oh. Okay, it's completely loses me. What does this mean? What does this mean? So, is this like... Wait. This makes no sense. I'm sure if Notch was in front of me, I don't know who wrote this, probably Notch though. If Notch was sitting in front of me, he could probably explain what this meant, assuming you still remember what the code meant. Whoever wrote it, maybe let's go back to like 2011, 2013, maybe. They could probably tell me what this means, but I don't know what it means at all. So this is not gonna work. Oof. Why are they downcast? So what is any of this? what confuses me the most, honestly, is how I'm just gonna move this out here. So, hey, a fully complete statement for once. I'm just baffled, honestly. It's fucking nuts. Well, alright then. What was this again? Um... Okay. So this don't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense either. However, this makes a little bit more sense. Okay. So we're gonna begin the query. Call quit. So does this still exist? Need to open this. So okay, so it still exists, right? Well, okay. Down here, it makes some sense, though I don't really understand the context of why this is being called and how. It will. This appears to be, of course, as you can tell, it has to do with the occlusion query, and it's going to call the query list, which is the GL render list, in case you're wondering, which essentially, to my understanding, is like a way that OpenGL will like partition rendering. So, like, for example, I mean, so essentially, it is the case that an integer number corresponds to a so an integer number corresponds to, I guess, is like unique rendering group, and so if you want to be organized in that sense, where you can like reference the list. I don't know what the specific like helpfulness of it is, but I know it is helpful for some people, some parts of this code. So it is what it is. I also think that just helps with like organizing how it's being rendered, but I don't really know how that works precisely, so I don't know. I just know it's organization, so that kind of gives a little more context. So essentially what we're going to do is, what is this? So, what this end query thing seems to be is that it'll stop doing whatever, this is past tense essentially. It'll stop doing this action. This seems to be like some sort of action, and it will stop doing that right here. And you start doing it, and then you call the list, and then you stop doing it. What does arb mean? I never understood that. Machine generated file, do not edit. Interesting. Machine generated file. That's really interesting. Like, huh. Alright then. Yeah, I wish I could get a machine to write my code for me. That'd be great. Awesome. Not really. It's kind of the writing it that's the journey, and then whenever the game launches, that's the fun part. So, you know we had to do it to him. So, it looks like from the looks of it, we do like okay. Actually, it's pretty good context. What the fuck? What is context? Change anything? No one understood. All right. So, if there is no occlusion, which there will be, but we don't. We've already calculated it in the past, so bummer, I guess. Pass there? Maybe it does. I don't know. Sorry about that, though. So, this whole block, everything, this entire thing, all of this is all just for occlusion. Impressive. My question is, so like I have of course I have a function that's for managing inclusion, and it's in Frustrum. Question is, does it have all the things it needs to? I don't know. So it's very possible that I need to do something with it to make it up to par with this. The problem is, I don't know what that is. Well, for now, that's fine. We've thought about it. And for the end here, I'll embarrass myself with my guitar. This is like an end thing for you guys. I'll play Sweden. So okay, gotta upload the patch. I don't know, patch. Well, I guess it's don't question my naming scheme. It's just so I can keep incrementing the number. Alpha patch 134. There's been a lot of them. I can imagine. What's it did it like 6 hours? Yeah, because I was from school. All right. And of course, once I finish this class, there's gonna be so many mistakes that I have to fix. Somewhere I don't know. Like you can think of the conceptual and you think it's gonna work, and then it don't. Whenever you run it, it's like, oh great, now I go through this again. Yikes. So anyway, I'm gonna push the origin. Can't get to the climax of alpha. It's like also looks like as long as I don't minimize the tab, it actually will still render. So, but yeah, alpha, very nice. Alright, so to end the stream here, I'm gonna play Sweden. I'm gonna go grab my guitar. I was just putting some stuff away from that I'd gotten out for the stream. When's alpha ends? Like a minute from now. I'm gonna bang on the guitar too badly. I'm sorry. That seems roughly to me. But not on to do a song without tuning guitar. That'd be a very bad situation. Okay. Let me go ahead and let's basic with that. All right. Let's start. Maybe I'll do like a wet and dry hands tomorrow. Also, I know right for the Minecraft songs I know Sweden, wet and dry hands, and then Minecraft. So I want to work on alpha. In case you're wondering, I'm gonna play what I remember learning from alpha today. Actually, before I do that, hold on. I need to remove the filter. It's not hear it. I apologize for your ears. It's gonna, yep. Is it? Yeah, that goes from there. I haven't gone that far in the song, don't worry. Alright, now on to Sweden. Alright. That's actually too loud. Let's start from quieter. Seriously does this? Really? How many times will there be texted today? Holy shit. Okay. I apologize for the inconvenience. It was honestly not anything important. So, let's start from the top. Thank you guys all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.